Hey there. Tonight we're taking you back, way back, to a time before skyscrapers touched the clouds, before highways carved through deserts, before anyone called this land America. We're going to the Sonoran Desert around the year Jobite CE, where yes, you, are about to become someone who will help build one of the most sophisticated water systems the ancient world has ever seen. But here's the thing they never taught you in school. You won't just be an engineer. You'll be a survivor. Every single day, you'll wake up knowing that one mistake in the canals means your entire community starves. One raid from neighboring tribes means everything you've built burns. One drought means watching children wither. So let me know in the comments, where are you watching from? What time is it there? Is it late? Good. Dim the lights, get comfortable, pull those blankets close, because for the next hour or so, you're going to live and breathe in the dust and sun of the Hohokam world. You'll dig in scorching heat. You'll fight when you have to. You'll calculate water flow with nothing but your hands and centuries of inherited knowledge. So, dim the lights. Let's begin. You wake before dawn in your small pit house. The air is cool now, but you know it won't last. The packed earth walls around you still hold yesterday's heat, and through the smoke hole above, you can see stars fading into purple-gray light. Your hands are already sore. They've been sore for 3 years, ever since you were chosen to work on the canal system at age 16. You're 19 now. Your name is something your family whispered when you were born, but everyone just calls you Digger. Not creative, sure, but accurate. You've moved more earth in 3 years than most people touch in a lifetime. The village is stirring. You hear coughing from the pit houses nearby, the scrape of grinding stones, as someone prepares morning meal. Your sister is already awake, braiding her hair in the corner. She's 2 years younger, and unlike you, she's learning the pottery craft. Smarter choice, probably. Potters don't break their backs daily. You sit up and your spine cracks in 3 places. 19 years old, and you sound like an old person. That's what canal work does. You reach for your water gourd, precious water rationed carefully, and take one small sip, just enough to wet your throat. Outside, the village leaders are already gathering near the central plaza. You see smoke rising from their morning fire. Today is important. The clan has decided to extend the main canal another half-mile north, toward the new fields. That means weeks of brutal digging. That means your hands will bleed again. That means the neighboring clan might notice and wonder why you're expanding. And when they wonder, they get nervous. When they get nervous, they raid. You crawl through the low entrance of your pit house. They're built partially underground to keep cool during the day and warm at night. Smart engineering, really. Everything your people do is about working with the desert, not against it. The morning air hits your face, still cool, maybe 60 degrees. In 4 hours, it'll be 90. By midday, 110. The canal crews work dawn to mid-morning, rest during peak heat, then work again in late afternoon. Nobody survives by fighting the sun head-on. The village spreads out before you. About 40 pit houses in this settlement, roughly 300 people total. Smoke rises from maybe half the dwellings. People are emerging, yawning, stretching, preparing for another day of survival. Because that's what this is. Every single day, survival. You walk toward the central plaza where the crew leaders gather. Your feet know the path by memory. Smooth stone here, rough gravel there, soft sand near the cooking areas. The village dogs are already awake, skinny creatures that somehow survive on scraps, an occasional rabbit. One trots up to you, tail wagging, hopefully. You have nothing to give. The elder engineer, a man named Stone Counter, is drawing in the dirt with a stick. He's maybe 45, which makes him ancient by your standards. Most people don't see 30. He survived this long because he's brilliant, He can calculate water flow, grade angles, and canal capacity in his head faster than anyone. He sees you approaching and nods. No smile. Stone counter never smiles. You've worked under him for 3 years and seen him laugh maybe twice. Both times when someone younger messed up badly and didn't die from it. Digger, he says simply. North extension. Today we survey the route. Tomorrow we break ground. Stone counter's surveying crew consists of 5 people. You, obviously. Then there's Reed Weaver, who's actually good at math. He counts paces and measures distances with knotted cord. There's Quiet Girl, who never speaks but has eyes like a hawk and spots terrain problems before anyone else. She's maybe 14, then the twins, Hard Digger and Deep Digger. Everyone just calls them the Diggers, which makes you all diggers, which is confusing but nobody cares. You walk north from the village, following the existing canal. It's impressive, even to you who sees it daily. The main canal runs 12 feet wide and 4 feet deep, carved through solid caliche in places. That's the rock-hard calcified soil that ruins tools and hands. The canal runs straight as an arrow for miles, fed by the distant river. Your people have been building these canals for 200 years. Your grandfather's grandfather helped dig the first channels. Now there are hundreds of miles of canals throughout the valley, feeding thousands of acres of maize, beans, squash, cotton. Without these canals, none of you exist. The desert is beautiful but merciless. Water is everything. Stone counter stops at the canal's current terminus. Here, he says, stomping his foot, we extend north, following the natural grade. Half-mile to the new field section. Reed Weaver, calculate the gradient. Digger, you're checking soil composition every 20 paces. Quiet Girl, watch for ancient ruins. We don't dig through sacred sites, you nod. Last year, a crew accidentally broke into an old burial site. Bad things happened after that. Illness swept through the village. Crops failed in their fields. People whispered it was the ancestors' anger. Maybe it was. Maybe it was coincidence. Either way, you avoid bones and pottery fragments. The sun is climbing. Already, you can feel heat building on your shoulders. Every 20 paces, you stop and dig, not deep, just enough to check the soil. You're looking for gravel content, clay layers, rock shelves, anything that will affect canal construction. Too much sand and the walls collapse. Too much clay and water doesn't percolate. Hit solid rock and you're digging for weeks instead of days. The digging stick punches through the surface crust easily. Good sign. Underneath, you feel sandy loam. Perfect for digging, but you'll need to line the canal walls with clay to prevent seepage. Your fingers probe the hole, feeling textures that most people wouldn't notice. You've done this so many times you can read soil like Reed Weaver reads. Knotted cords. Sandy loam, you call to stone counter. We'll need clay lining, he grunts acknowledgement. That's stone counter for good work. 20 paces later, you dig again. This time you hit something hard 3 inches down. You scrape around it carefully, rock shelf. Damn. You expose enough to see it's not continuous, just a scattered layer. Manageable, but annoying. Broken rock, shelf, you report, not deep, we can dig through. Quiet Girl suddenly crouches next to you. She points at something in your test hole. You look closer. Pottery shard, old one too. Different style from what your people make now. This piece is maybe 300 years old from the early canal builders. Stone counter comes over, studies the shard, then looks around carefully. Quiet Girl, search pattern. Everyone stop digging. Check for more fragments. This is protocol. One shard might be nothing. Trash washes around. Multiple shards mean ancient dwelling, possibly burials. And you don't dig through those. The morning sun is getting aggressive now. Heat shimmers off the desert floor. Your shoulders are already burning, even this early. Tonight, they'll peel again. The search takes an hour. Quiet Girl finds 3 more pottery shards, all clustered in a 15-foot area. Reed Weaver finds what might be a post hole, circular depression filled with darker soil. Stone Counter makes the decision quickly. Ancient dwelling, probably abandoned 200 years ago. When the old canal route shifted, he scratches a line in the dirt with his stick. We route around it. Adds 50 feet to the canal length, but we don't disturb ancestors. Everyone relaxes slightly. Ratting around is better than stopping the project entirely. You've heard of canal extensions canceled because they ran into major burial grounds. Months of planning wasted. Villages going hungry because new fields couldn't be irrigated. You continue surveying, now following the adjusted route. The sun is brutal now, must be 90 degrees, maybe more. Your water gourd is half empty, and you're rationing carefully. There's a small spring another quarter-mile north where the crew will refill. But until then, every sip matters. Reed Weaver is counting paces, his lips moving silently as he measures. The twins are marking the route with stone cairns, small piles that the digging crews will follow tomorrow. Quiet Girl ranges ahead, those sharp eyes scanning for more archaeological problems. Your mind wanders as you walk and dig and measure. You think about why you're doing this. The obvious answer is food. New fields mean more crops, more food storage, better survival through the dry seasons. But there's more to it. Your people have been building these canals for generations because canal building is what makes you Hohokam. The word itself, which your people don't actually use for themselves, it's what later people will call you, means something like those who have gone or the ancestors. But really it should mean the people who move water. That's your identity. You don't just survive in the desert. You reshape it. By mid-morning, you've surveyed half the route. Stone Counter calls for rest. Everyone drops immediately wherever they are. No drama, no complaints. When the elder engineer says, rest, you rest. Heat exhaustion kills. And he's not losing crew members to stubbornness. You find a creosote bush and huddle in its meager shade. Barely better than full sun. But, psychologically it helps. You take 2 small sips from your water gourd. The water is warm, tastes like leather from the gourd, but it's wet, and that's what matters. The twins are arguing quietly about something. They always argue. Reed Weaver is checking his knotted counting cord, making sure he hasn't lost track of the measurements. Quiet Girl is staring at something in the distance, probably spotting terrain features the rest of you would miss. Stone Counter is eating a small cake of ground corn, mixed with mesquite bean meal. He notices you watching and breaks off a piece, tosses it to you. You catch it, surprised. Stone Counter doesn't share food casually. You're good at soil reading, he says. Not loud, just a statement. Better than the last 3 people who had your position. You chew the corn cake slowly, making it last. What happened to them? First one quit, decided pottery was easier. Second one took an arrow during the raid 3 summers ago. Third one fell into a canal during flash flood season. Fell? Officially. Stone Counter's face is unreadable. Probably jumped. The work breaks some people. Constant digging, constant sun, constant awareness. That one mistake floods a village or starves a field. You swallow the last of the corn cake. It sits heavy in your stomach. Why tell me this? Because you're not breaking. 3 years and you're still accurate, still focused. I'm training you to take over survey crew when I'm gone. You're not that old. I'm 45. I've survived 3-decade droughts, 4 major raids, and a pandemic that killed half the valley. I'm old. The afternoon survey continues after a 2-hour midday rest. The heat is monstrous now, well over 100 degrees. You've developed a shuffling walk that minimizes energy expenditure. Every movement is calculated. Wasted motion means wasted water means death. You're thinking about Stone Counter's words. Taking over the survey crew means responsibility for planning every canal extension, every irrigation branch, every water distribution decision. It means understanding not just where water flows, but where it needs to flow for maximum crop survival. It means calculating capacity, too narrow and farmers fight over water rights. Too wide and you waste months of labor digging unnecessary channel. It also means you become a target. The neighboring clans watch canal construction closely. More canals mean more irrigated fields, mean more food, mean stronger villages. When one clan grows stronger, others grow nervous. Nervous clans raid, and when they raid, they kill the engineers first. Kill the people who know how the water flows, and you cripple a community for generations. Your father understood this. He was a trader, traveling between villages, negotiating for shells and obsidian and copper bells. Traders are neutral, usually safe during raids. Usually, 2 winters ago, he left for a trading run to the south villages. Never came back. No body, no news, no closure, just gone. Your mother died from illness when you were 12. Your sister is all you have left, digger. Quiet girl's voice breaks your thought spiral. She never speaks unless it's important. Smoke. Southwest, everyone stops. Stone Counter shades his eyes, looking where she points. You see it too. A thin column of smoke, maybe 3 miles away. Could be anything. Cooking fire. Signal fire. Or rain smoke, Reed Weaver says quietly. That's Black Mesa clan territory. Someone hit them. Stone Counter's jaw tightens. Not our problem today. We finished the survey. But tomorrow, everyone brings weapons to work. The survey finishes as the sun begins its descent. You've mapped the entire half-mile extension, identified soil challenges, marked the route with cairns, and calculated the labor requirements. Stone Counter estimates 15 days of digging with a crew of 30. That's 450 person days of labor. Walking back to the village, your crew is quiet. Everyone's thinking about the smoke. Raids are inevitable in this landscape. Resources are finite. When drought comes, and it always comes, clans that have invested in better canals survive better. Clans without good canals either dig frantically or take from those who have. Your people, the Hohokam, have solved this, partially through trade and cooperation. The canal systems are so complex that they require multiple villages working together. You share water, you share labor, you share knowledge. But cooperation only stretches so far. When real scarcity hits, alliances crack. You reach the village as evening colors paint the sky. People are gathering in the central plaza. The news has already spread. The smoke was indeed a raid. Black Mesa clan was hit by the Riverbend people. 3 dead, multiple injured, food storage partially burned. The village leaders are meeting. Your people aren't directly threatened. You're 5 miles from Black Mesa, and Riverbend clan has no quarrel with you. But these things cascade. Black Mesa will need food. No, they'll ask for help. Your village will have to decide. Share food and weaken your own storage, or refuse and break alliance bonds. Ethu. Stone Counter touches your shoulder. Tomorrow we dig. Same crew, plus 25 more. Work will be hard and fast. If raids spread, we need this extension finished before we have to pull workers. For defense, you're not. Your hands already hurt thinking about Your sister has prepared evening meal. Corn cakes, beans flavored with wild onion, and a small piece of rabbit meat. Luxury. You look at her questioningly. Traded pottery, she explains. Woman from the North housing section needed water jars. I gave her 3. She gave me the rabbit. You eat slowly, deliberately. Your body screams for more food. But this is it. This is all there is until tomorrow night. Your stomach will growl in 2 hours and you'll ignore it. Everyone does. Your sister watches you eat. The raid, she says. Are we next? No. Different clan conflict. Doesn't involve us. Yet. She's smarter than you give her credit for, yet you agree she's quiet for a moment, grinding more corn. The rhythmic scraping of stone on stone fills the pit house. I heard Stone Counter is training you, making you survey leader eventually. News travels fast. He mentioned it. That makes you important. Important people get targeted during raids. I know, father was important. Traders always are. Look what happened. You stop eating. We don't know what happened to father. Exactly. She does look up from grinding. We don't know because there was nothing left to find. The corn cake tastes like dust suddenly. You force yourself to finish it anyway. Wasting food is unthinkable. Your sister is right, though. Becoming survey leader means painting a target on your back. During raids, you kill engineers, potters of ritual vessels, healers, water distributors, and yon whose knowledge keeps a community functional. But refusing the position isn't an option. Stone Counter chose you. The community needs skilled engineers. And honestly, you're good at this work. Despite the pain, despite the danger, you're good at reading land and water and earth. Outside, you hear the village leaders still talking. Their voices carry in the evening air. Debates about food sharing, defense preparations, whether to send scouts toward riverbend territory. Sleep doesn't come easily. You lie on your reed mat, body exhausted but mind racing. Through the smoke hole, you can see stars, thousands of them, the way they look when there are no city lights to drown them. Not that you know what city lights means. For you, this is all there is. Stars, desert, canals, survival. You think about the canal extension, 1/2 mile doesn't sound like much, but it's enormous work. 12 feet wide, 4 feet deep. That's 48 cubic feet of cross-section. Multiplied by R, Lopi scissors feet 1/2 mile, and you're looking at E-byte Arsher Luke, T-byte Arses cubic feet of earth to move. With stone tools, by hand, no wheels, no draft animals, no machinery, just 30 people with digging sticks, baskets, and determination. Your mind does the math. Each person can move maybe 100 cubic feet per day. That's, you count in your head. Arbeitslosity person days of work. Stone Counter estimated 7 person days. That means he's planning for the crew to work faster than average. Probably because of the raid threat. Push hard, finish fast, get everyone back to normal life before things escalate. Which means your hands will be destroyed. Your back will scream. You'll lose weight you don't have to lose. And if you mess up, if you miscalculate the grade in water, doesn't flow properly, the village plants crops that die from drought. Children starve, and it's your fault. No pressure outside. A coyote yips, another answers from farther away. Normal night sounds. You've learned to distinguish between animal sounds and human sounds. Raiders move quietly, but not silently. The desert carries sound in strange ways. Sometimes you hear footsteps from 100 yards away. Sometimes you can't hear someone 3 feet behind you. Your sister is already asleep, breathing deep and steady. She's always been a good sleeper. You envy that. Tomorrow you dig. Tonight you worry. Dawn comes too early. Your sister shakes you awake. You finally slept maybe 2 hours near sunrise. Your body feels like stone. Everything hurts. Your hands, your back, your shoulders, your legs. Even your neck hurts. 19 years old and you're ancient, but you get up because everyone gets up. That's how you survive. Outside, the village is already mobilizing. 30 workers are gathering near the canal extension starting point. Not just the survey crew now. There are farmers who finished planting early, potters between projects, young people doing their mandatory labor service. Everyone contributes to canal work. It's not optional. The canals feed everyone, so everyone builds them. You recognize most of the crew. There's Fast Walker, who's actually slow but got the name ironically, and it's stuck. gray hair, who's maybe 30 but prematurely silver. The three sisters from the east section, names you've never learned, who work as a synchronized unit. Red painted, who always decorates his face with ochre patterns before physical labor, some personal ritual, and others a mix of experienced and inexperienced, young and old, strong and average. Stone counter is distributing tools, digging sticks for breaking ground, baskets woven from beer grass for hauling dirt, hafted stone tools for cutting through roots and breaking rock, wooden wedges for splitting large boulders. Simple tools, but effective when you know how to use them. He sees you and tosses you a new digging stick. Your old one was wearing through. This is mesquite wood, fire-hardened, should last a season. You test its weight. Heavier than your old stick, but balanced. Thank you, don't thank me. Just dig straight. The crew is forming up. Everyone knows their position. Experienced diggers at the front, breaking new ground, intermediate workers behind them, clearing loose dirt, newcomers at the back, hauling baskets to spoil piles. You're at the front, always at the front. The digging begins, you position yourself at the starting point where the existing canal terminates. The route is marked with stone cairns from yesterday's survey. Your job is to follow that line precisely. Deviate even a foot, and the water flow dynamics change. Stone counter has calculated the grade at Bifinger Lingner decline. That's 4 inches of drop per 100 feet. Steep enough for water to flow without stagnating. Shallow enough that it doesn't erode the canal walls. You raise the digging stick and drive it down. The point punches through the surface crust easily. That sandy loam you identified yesterday. Good. You lever up, breaking the earth, creating the first wound in what will become the canal. Beside you, the twins are doing the same. The three of you work in rhythm, drive, lever. Behind you, intermediate workers are scooping the broken earth into baskets. Behind them, haulers are carrying full baskets to the spoil pile. It's an assembly line made of human labor. The sun climbs. Sweat starts immediately. By the time you're 20 feet into the dig, your hands are screaming despite the cloth wraps. The fire-hardened mesquite wood is tough, but driving it into the earth hundreds of times creates shock waves up your arms. Your shoulders burn, your back muscles tighten, you ignore all of it, everyone does. Pain is just information. You acknowledge it and keep working. Stone counter walks the line, checking depth with a marked rod. 2 inches too shallow here, he says to you. Compensate over the next 10 feet. You adjust, dig slightly deeper. The canal floor must be smooth, gradual, no sudden changes that would create turbulence or sediment deposition. Hours pass. The sun becomes brutal. Someone calls for water break. Everyone stops, drinks sparingly, then returns to work. No complaints. No conversation, just work. By midday, you've advanced 40 feet. That's good progress. Only feet to go. By afternoon, you hit the first major obstacle. Your digging stick strikes something solid with a jarring clang that vibrates up your arms. Rock. You probe around it. Not a small stone, but a boulder, maybe 3 feet across, buried in the canal path. Stone counter. Work stops immediately. Stone prashakala. Stokri shorcall. Work stops immediately. Everyone knows what rock in the canal path means. Hours of additional labor. Stone counter comes over, examines the boulder, then nods to hard digger and deep digger. Twins, you're up. The twins specialize in boulder removal. They've done this dozens of times. They start digging around the boulder's edges, exposing it gradually. It takes an hour to reveal the full size. 4 feet across, irregularly shaped, probably weighs 500 pounds. Too big to lift out, too embedded to roll out. Our digger pulls out the hafted stone tools, basically sharp rocks bound to wooden handles. He starts pecking at the boulder, finding fracture lines. This is skilled work. Find the right weakness in the rock, and you can split it with wedges. Find the wrong line, and you just dull your tools for nothing. Deep digger is soaking wooden wedges in water from the existing canal. Wet wood swells. Drive a wedge into a crack and soak it, and the swelling wood can crack solid stone. Ancient technique, surprisingly effective. You watch while catching your breath. Your hands are bleeding through the cloth wraps now. Not heavily, just seeping. You'll need to rewrap tonight with fresh cloth. Add that to the list of things your sister will need to prepare. The twins work for 2 hours. Peck test, insert wedge, soak, wait. Peck test, insert another wedge. Finally, with a crack like a broken tree limb, the boulder splits. Not clean, but enough. The 2 halves can be rolled out of the canal path, digger. Stone counter says. Your route planning was good. 1 boulder in 2,000 feet is acceptable. Keep going. Work continues until evening. You advance another 30 feet after the boulder removal, bringing the total to 70 feet. At this rate, the half-mile extension will take. You calculate mentally about 19 days, longer than Stone Counter's estimate. But 1 boulder delay isn't terrible. If you don't hit more obstacles, you can make up time. Walking back to the village, your legs barely function. Your hands have gone numb, too much pain for your nerves to process, so they've just stopped reporting. This is dangerous. You've seen people injure themselves seriously because they couldn't feel the damage they were doing, but there's no choice. Tomorrow you'll dig again, and the day after, and the day after. The village is quieter than usual. You notice fewer people in the plaza, fewer cooking fires. Then you see why the delegation from Black Mesa clan has arrived. 12 people, looking haggard and desperate. The raid hit them harder than initial reports suggested. You stop walking, watching from a distance. The Black Mesa spokesperson, an elder woman with a burn scar across her face, probably from yesterday's raid, is talking to your village leaders. You can't hear the words, but the body language tells the story. She's asking for food. Your leaders are listening but not committing. Your sister appears beside you, startling you. They lost half their food storage, she says quietly, and 6 people died, not 3. The Riverbend Raiders were more aggressive than anyone expected. Will we help them? The leaders are debating. Black Mesa are allies, but our storage is already calculated for our population. Give away food now, and we might starve during winter drought. You watch the negotiation. Politics of scarcity. Everyone wants to be generous, but generosity can kill you in the desert. There's another problem. Your sister continues. Riverbend is claiming Black Mesa stole water from their canal upstream. That's why they raided. Water theft. The worst crime in Hohokam society, worse than murder in some ways. Because stealing water kills entire communities slowly. You eat with your sister in silence. Tonight's meal is smaller than yesterday's. Just corn cakes and beans. No meat. Resources are being conserved pending the leader's decision about Black Mesa. Your hands are so damaged, you struggle to hold food. Your sister has to help breaking corn cakes into pieces you can manage. It's humiliating, but she doesn't comment. She's seen worse during drought years when even healthy adults needed help eating because they were so weakened. Stone Counter talked to me today, she says, while helping you eat. You look at her surprised. Why? He wanted to know if you have any health problems I'm aware of. Any weakness that might prevent you from becoming survey leader. What did you tell him? The truth? You're stubborn and you don't quit even when your body is breaking. He seemed satisfied with that answer. You manage a weak smile. Not sure that's a compliment. It is in this life. She hands you the water gourd. He also asked if you have any romantic attachments. Why would he? You stop understanding. He wants to know if I'll stay focused. Partially. But also, survey leaders often arrange marriages with other engineering families. Keeps the knowledge concentrated. Makes training easier. You've never thought about marriage. You're 19, which is definitely marriage age, but between the canal work and survival pressures, there's been no time for courtship rituals. Some villages have formal arrangements, but your clan is more informal. People pair up when circumstances allow. There's a girl in the Black Mesa delegation, your sister continues. One of the younger ones, she's a potter trained in their style. Pretty and available, from what I heard. We're in the middle of a crisis and you're matchmaking? Crisis or not, life continues. People pair up, children are born, work gets done. That's how we survive. Sleep comes easier tonight. Your body simply overrides your mind. You fall into dark, dreamless unconsciousness almost immediately after lying down. But it doesn't last. Hours later, you don't know how many you wake to urgent voices outside. Your sister is already sitting up. Alert. Through the smoke hole, the stars tell you it's deep night, maybe 3 hours before dawn. Raiders, someone shouts. Not close, but not far either. Riverbend warriors sighted near the east fields. You're on your feet instantly, pain forgotten in the surge of adrenaline. You grab your digging stick. It's the closest thing to a weapon you have. Your sister grabs a clay pot, absurdly, then realizes uselessness and drops it. Outside, the village is controlled chaos. People are emerging from pith houses, forming defensive positions. The warriors, your clan's trained fighters, maybe 20 of them, are already armed with atay-latls, spear throwers, spears, clubs, and shields. They're moving toward the east side, where the sighting occurred. But Stone Counter is heading the opposite direction, north toward the canal extension site. You follow him instinctively. Why north? North. You ask, catching up. Think, digger, why would Riverbend scout our village? You think looking for weakness? Looking for what we value, and what do we value most? Understanding hits. The canals, raiders don't just want food and resources. They want to break us. Destroying canal infrastructure breaks us for years. If they damage the main canal, we lose everything. You're running now, both of you, despite exhausted bodies. The twins join you, then Reed Weaver and Quiet Girl. The survey crew, moving together without orders, understanding the threat. If they've found today's excavation site, Stone Counter says between breaths, they'll know we're extending north. They might try to collapse it or poison the water source. You reach the canal extension site, 70 feet of hard-won excavation, and find them there, 5 Riverbend warriors, illuminated by moonlight, preparing to collapse the canal walls. They have wooden levers, ready to pry loose the carefully maintained grade. You spent days creating. They see you and your crew approaching. For a moment, everyone freezes. They have the numbers, 5 against your crew of 6. But they weren't expecting anyone to come. They thought they'd have time to sabotage and escape. Stone Counter doesn't hesitate. Defend the canal. He shouts and charges. Everything happens fast. The raiders drop their levers and grab weapons, clubs and spears. Your survey crew has digging sticks and desperation. Not a fair fight, but survival rarely is. Stone Counter is fighting their leader, an older warrior with battle scars. They're evenly matched in age and experience. Stone Counter uses his digging stick like a staff, blocking and striking with controlled precision. The raider has a stone-headed club that could crush a skull. Then you hear it. War cries from behind. Your village warriors have arrived, 20 strong, rushing into the fight. The Riverbend raiders see them coming and make the smart decision. Retreat. They disengage rapidly, grabbing their wounded, and run into the night. Your village warriors pursue for maybe 50 yards, then stop. No point chasing them into darkness, where ambushes wait. You stand there, breathing hard, digging stick still gripped tight. Your hands are bleeding again. Blisters have torn open during the fight. No one died. That's the important thing. 2 of your crew members are injured. One of the twins has a gash across his shoulder. Reed Weaver has bruised ribs. But everyone is walking. The River Bend Raiders took their wounded and ran. You don't know their casualties. Don't particularly care either. Stone Counter is checking the canal excavation for damage. The Raiders didn't have time to sabotage much. Maybe 30 seconds of attempted destruction before your arrival. Some loose dirt has fallen into the trench, but nothing structural. A few hours of work tomorrow will fix it. We were lucky, he says, not looking at you. Another 5 minutes, and they'd have collapsed this entire section. We'd be starting over. Your hands are shaking now, post-adrenaline crash. The digging stick drops from your grip. Stone Counter catches it before it hits the ground and hands it back. His eyes meet yours. You fought well. Better than I expected for someone who's never been in combat. I wasn't. Your words aren't working, right? Shock, maybe you will be in combat again, Stone Counter says. Voice flat, but not unkind. Survey leaders are always targets. Raiders know that killing an engineer does more damage than burning food. You need to accept this. The village warriors are spreading out, establishing a perimeter watch. The rest of the night will be spent guarding the canal site. The raiders might return, might bring more warriors, might try to circle back. Your sister appears. Apparently she followed despite you telling her to stay in the village. She looks at your bleeding hands, the cut above your eye, the new bruises forming. She doesn't say anything, just pulls out a cloth and starts wrapping your hands more securely. I told you important people get targeted, she finally says, voice carefully neutral. I know. Still want Stone Counter's job? You think about it, really think. Then yes, dawn comes while you're still at the canal site. The night passed without further attacks. The River Bend Raiders apparently decided discretion was better than another confrontation, or their regrouping. Hard to know. You spent the night watching the perimeter, digging stick in hand, fighting exhaustion. Every shadow looked like a raider. Every coyote sound made you jump. Your body wanted sleep desperately, but adrenaline kept you wired and alert. And you're a mess. Hands bleeding through fresh wraps, cut above your eye throbbing, new bruises competing with old muscle pain, running on maybe 2 hours of sleep total. But you pick up your digging stick and take your position at the front of the line. Because the canal won't build itself, Stone Counter watches the crew assemble. Today we dig twice as hard, he announces, not as punishment, as statement. River Bend tried to break us. We show them we don't break. Every foot of canal we complete today is a message. You can't stop us. The crew responds with grim nods. No cheers, no enthusiasm, just determination. The desert has taught your people that flashy displays of emotion are energy waste. You save your energy for work. Dig, Stone Counter commands. You drive your stick into the earth. The day becomes a blur of pain and earth. Drive the stick, lever up, drive again. Your hands scream. Your shoulders burn. Your back feels like it's splitting. You ignore all of it, everyone does. The crew works in grim silence, punctuated only by Stone Counter's occasional depth checks. By midday, you've advanced 20 feet less than yesterday, but understandable given injuries and exhaustion. The work is harder now. You're digging through a layer of harder clay mixed with gravel. Each strike of the digging stick sends jarring impacts up your arms. During the midday rest, one of the village warriors approaches you. He's maybe 25, scarred from previous raids, carrying an atlatl and spears. You fought well last night, he says. Natural instincts. Ever think about warrior training? You shake your head. I'm an engineer. Engineers die when raiders target them. Warriors die too, but at least we're trained for it. Stone Counter needs engineers more than more warriors. The warrior shrugs your choice. but I'll teach you basic combat if you want. Before next time? Next time? Always a next time. Riverbend won't forget last night. They'll be back, bigger force, better planned, and other clans are watching. Successful raids encourage more raids. He walks away before you can respond. Your sister appears with water and food. She's been helping with support duties, keeping the work crew supplied. The village leaders finished negotiating with Black Mesa, she reports. We're sharing 20% of our food storage. In exchange, they're sending 10 workers to help with canal construction. Plus their best potter will train me in their technique. 20%? That's substantial. It is. But Black Mesa controls the upstream water flow. If they collapse from the raid, our canals run dry. Politics of interdependence. Afternoon work reveals another problem. You hit a layer of caliche, that rock-hard calcified soil. That's every canal digger's nightmare. Your digging stick bounces off it. The twins try, same result. Even stone counter's powerful strikes barely scratch it. Play tools, stone counter orders. We go slower. The crew switches to hafted stone tools, sharp rocks bound to handles, designed for pecking through hard layers. The work slows dramatically. Instead of feet per hour, you're measuring progress in inches. Each strike chips away tiny fragments of caliche. It's like trying to dig through concrete with a stone chisel, because essentially that's what you're doing. Your hands, already destroyed, are now taking new damage. The shock from striking caliches travels up the tool handle, with enough force to tear open any healing blisters. Blood mixes with rock dust, creating red mud that coats your palms. Hours pass. The sun beats down. You've entered a state beyond pain. Mechanical repetition, mind disconnected, body operating on pure routine. Strike, chip, strike, chip. Then you break through. The caliche layer is only 18 inches thick. Under it, you hit sand. Soft, workable sand. The relief is almost physical. Back to digging sticks, stone counter calls. We push hard now. Make up for lost time, the crew responds. You're all running on fumes, but there's an end-of-day push mentality. You dig faster, excavating the softer sand layer. The canal advances 20 feet, 25, 30. By evening, you've managed 40 feet total, less than your goal, but respectable given the caliche delay and night raid. 3 days in, you've advanced E-byte Wusser feet. Only C-byte Gaucher's feet remain. Walking back to the village, you can't feel your hands at all. They're just numb lumps at the ends of your arms. This should worry you. It doesn't. You're too tired to worry. Your sister takes one look at your hands, makes a decision. You're not digging tomorrow. Those need treatment or you'll lose fingers. The canal will be built by someone else for one day. She's using her firm voice. The one that sounds like your mother used to sound. Stone Counter has 30 workers now with the Black Mesa additions. He can spare you. Sit, you, sit. Not much choice. Your legs gave out and sitting just happened. She unwraps your hands carefully. The cloth has adhered to wounds in places, and pulling it free makes you gasp despite your exhaustion. Your hands are a mess. Blisters on blisters. Some infected, others just raw meat. Deep cuts from yesterday's fight that never got proper treatment. Swelling that makes your fingers look like sausages. And underneath it all, those thick calluses that are both protection and liability. They're so thick now that when they crack deep. Your sister prepares a poultice, ground cattail root mixed with honey and a bit of clay to bind it. Honey is precious, used only for serious wounds because of its healing properties. She spreads it carefully, wincing at your reactions despite your attempts to hide them. You can't keep doing this, she says quietly. Not at this pace. You're 19. You should have decades ahead of you. At this rate, you'll be dead or crippled by 25. This is what engineers do. No, this is what desperate people do. There's a difference. She wraps your hands in clean cloth. The poultice burns initially, then soothes. Tomorrow you rest. I don't care what Stone Counter says. If he needs you that badly, he'll understand the value of keeping you functional long term. You want to argue. But you're asleep before you can form the words. You wake late the next morning. Your body simply refused to wake earlier, shutting down for necessary recovery. When you finally emerge from the pit house, the sun is already climbing, probably mid-morning. You've slept maybe 10 hours, the longest stretch in 3 days. Your hands are stiff, but better. The poultice worked. Swelling is down. Infection seems to be halting. They still hurt like fire, but it's manageable pain, not the screaming agony of yesterday. You can flex your fingers, which is improvement. The village is active. You see the work crew heading north to the canal site. They left hours ago. You feel guilty for not being there, but your sister was right. One day of rest might save your hands for years of work. Destroy them completely now and you're useless forever. You spend the morning doing light tasks, helping sort baskets in the communal storage area, checking the main canal for sediment buildup. You can do this without digging, just walking and observing, helping younger children learn to read water flow by watching surface patterns. At midday, Stone Counter returns from the work site. He sees you and nods. Hands, better, tomorrow I can work. Good, we advanced 40 feet today. The black mesa workers are solid, experienced diggers. But we need your soil reading. Hit another rock layer this afternoon. And without you there, we wasted an hour determining route adjustment. So you were needed, but you also needed rest. Constant tension between immediate productivity and long-term sustainability. This is the calculation every Hohokam community faces. Work people, hard enough to complete vital projects, but not so hard you permanently disable them. Your sister is right, Stone Counter says, surprising you. I've been pushing too hard. Not just you, the whole crew. We'll implement rotating rest days. Can't build canals with dead engineers. The next week establishes a rhythm. Work days alternate with rest days for crew members. Half the crew works while half rests, rotating through. This slows overall progress, but reduces injuries and maintains morale. The canal advances steadily, 40 to 50 feet per work day, with fewer major setbacks. Your hands heal slowly. The deep wounds close. New calluses form over damaged areas. By day 10, you're back to full digging capability. Though you're more careful now, you've learned to read pain signals, to stop before damage becomes catastrophic. The Black Mesa workers integrate well. They bring different techniques. Their clan has been building canals for generations too, and some of their methods are more efficient than yours. There's knowledge exchange happening. Reed Weaver learns a new measuring system. The twins adopt a different digging rhythm. You learn a soil testing method that's faster than your old one. This is how Hohokam culture works. No single village has all the answers. You share, you learn, you adapt. The canal systems are so vast, connecting so many communities, that cooperation isn't idealistic. It's survival. The girl your sister mentioned is named Small Bird. She's 17 from Black Mesa, and yes, she's a talented potter. You see her occasionally when she brings water to the work crews. She has serious eyes and fast hands, always moving, always working. You haven't spoken much. There hasn't been time, but you're aware of her presence. Your sister has been coaching you on courtship protocols. If you want to indicate interest, you offer to carry her water jars back to the village. Don't stare directly at her. That's too aggressive. Compliment her pottery work, not her appearance. Skills matter more than beauty. You're not sure how you feel about this. You're 19, focused on canal engineering, and suddenly people are planning your romantic life. But you also understand the practical aspects. Strong alliances between families strengthen communities. Day 12 brings a celebration. The canal extension reaches quarter-mile. Sambite Arce's feet excavated. It's a significant milestone. Halfway to completion. Stone Counter declares a rest day for the entire crew and the village prepares a feast. Well, feast is relative. In your culture, this means slightly larger portions of food, some precious dried meat from storage, and corn cake sweetened with honey. But it's special, and people are genuinely happy. The work has been brutal, but it's progressing. The new fields will be irrigated, food security improves, life continues. During the feast, Smallbird's mother approaches your sister. The conversation is quiet, but you see it happening. Your sister glances at you. Then back to Smallbird's mother, nodding. Later, your sister explains, Smallbird's family has formally indicated interest in alliance. Your reputation as future survey leader has reached Black Mesa. They're proposing a marriage arrangement between you and Smallbird. Your stomach does something complicated. And what did you tell them? That you're interested but focused on canal completion first, which gives both of you time to actually talk to each other before committing. She pauses. Are you interested? You think about Smallbird, serious eyes, skilled hands, from a good engineering family. Not a love match. Those are rare in your culture, but a solid practical alliance. I don't know. You admit? Maybe? Good answer. Take time, marriage is permanent. Choose carefully. The feast continues. You find yourself watching Smallbird, who's helping serve food. She catches you looking, holds your gaze for 3 seconds, then looks away. Not coy, just acknowledging. 3 seconds in Hohokam courtship culture is significant. It means I see you, I'm considering. You eat your feast portion slowly, making it last, thinking about futures that extend beyond canal excavation. Work resumes the next day. The canal extension continues through varying soil conditions, sandy loam, clay layers, occasional rock. Your crew has developed remarkable efficiency. You can read soil composition almost instantly now. The twins work in perfect synchronization. Reed Weaver's measurements are precise to the inch. Quiet Girl spots problems before they become catastrophic. But day 14 brings a new challenge. You reach an area where ancient canals once ran. Stone Counter identifies it immediately. The soil has a different texture, slightly compacted, with traces of canal lining clay mixed through it. An old canal system, probably abandoned 100 years ago, when your ancestors shifted the irrigation network. Yeah. Do we dig through it, you ask? Stone Counter examines the ancient canal path carefully. Normally, yes. Old canals are just dirt, not sacred. But he traces something in the soil. This particular canal was part of the Great Shift, when our ancestors redirected the entire water system during the 20-year drought. Elders still tell stories about it. Hundreds died during that drought. This canal saved those who survived. You understand, not sacred but respected, history. We root around it. Stone Counter decides, adds 3 days to construction time, but some things matter more than efficiency. The crew accepts this without complaint. You all understand the weight of inherited knowledge, the debt you owe to ancestors who solved impossible problems so you could exist. This canal, this long dry channel that once meant survival, deserves acknowledgement. The route adjustment adds complexity. You need to survey a new path, check soil conditions, recalculate grades. It's 3 days of extra work, but it feels right. You're not just building new canals. You're honoring old ones. Days 16 through 18 are spent surveying and excavating the adjusted route. The work is familiar now, almost meditative. Drive the stick, lever up, check the grade, repeat. Your body performs these actions automatically, while your mind wanders. You think about small bird. You've talked to her 3 times now. Brief conversations while she brings water. She's smart, with dry humor that catches you off guard. When you mentioned your hands hurting, she said, "That's why potters are smarter than diggers." Clay doesn't fight back. You laughed, which is rare during work days. You think about your future as survey leader. Stone Counter is training you in the complex mathematics of water distribution, how to calculate flow rates, how to determine if a canal can support additional branch channels, how to predict where sediment will accumulate. It's fascinating work, engineering at a level that affects entire communities. You think about the raid that seems so long ago now, though it was only 2 weeks. The Riverbend warriors haven't returned. Maybe they decided the cost was too high. Maybe they're planning something bigger. Uncertainty is permanent in your world. You think about your father. You've stopped expecting him to return. 2 years is too long, but you still wear the shell necklace he gave you. Still think about his advice. Watch the water. Water tells truth when people lie. On day 18, small bird approaches you directly after work. "Walk with me," she says. Not a question, not quite a command, an invitation. You walk together along the existing canal, watching water flow. She points out patterns in the surface. That ripple pattern means there's a rock creating turbulence below. You should check for structural damage. Yeah, she's right. You check. There's a small rock that's worked loose from the canal wall. You remove it, and the turbulence smooths. She saw what you missed. You're observant, you say. Day 20 brings a watershed moment. You break through to the new field section. The canal extension is complete. Half a mile of hand-excavated channel, perfectly graded, walls properly lined with clay, ready for water. The entire crew stops at the terminus point. Stone Counter drives a wooden marker into the ground, officially designating the canal's end. Everyone is silent for a moment, just absorbing what's been accomplished. 20 days, 30 workers, are low by scissor feet of desert transformed into irrigation infrastructure. Then someone starts a work song. The others join in, a rhythmic chant that your people sing after completing major projects. No words, just voices blending in patterns that sound like water flowing. You join in, your voice mixing with the twins' deep tones, Reed Weaver's off-key but enthusiastic contribution, quiet girls, surprisingly clear soprano. The song ends. Stone Counter looks at the crew. Tomorrow we flood the canal. Test the grade, check for leaks, see if the water flows true. If it does, we've succeeded. If it doesn't, he doesn't finish. Everyone knows. If the grade is wrong, you start over. Months of work wasted, you're confident in your calculations, but there's always doubt. Water is honest. It reveals every mistake. Walking back to the village, small bird finds you. The marriage proposal stands. She says directly, no preamble, my family approves. But I want to know, are you doing this because it's smart or because you consider carefully? Honesty matters. Both. The alliance is smart for both families. But also, I like talking to you. I like how you see things. I think we could build a good life. Not a love declaration, she observes. Not yet, but maybe it could become one. She considers this. Fair answer. I accept. We'll formalize after the canal proves successful. No point marrying a failed engineer. It's practical to the point of brutal, but you laugh. This is how your people approach relationships. Clear-eyed assessment mixed with hope for something more. Day 21. Water test day. The entire village gathers at the canal extension. This is significant. If the canal works, food security improves for everyone. If it fails, the village has spent 20 days of labor on nothing, weakened itself during a dangerous period, and gained no benefit. You stand with Stone Counter, at the main canal control point. This is where water will be diverted into the new extension. The stone gates are opened carefully, allowing water to flow into the freshly dug channel. Everyone watches in silence. Water enters the extension. It flows forward, following the grade you calculated. The surface looks smooth. Good sign, means the bottom is relatively even. The water level rises to about 3 feet depth, perfect design specification. The water continues forward. 100 feet, 200 feet, no visible problems. The clay lining is holding, preventing excessive seepage. The grade is correct. Water flows steadily without pooling or racing. 400 feet, 600 feet. You're walking alongside, following the water, checking for issues. Stone counter is doing the same on the opposite bank. The crowd follows at a distance. Murmuring commentary, 1,000 feet. The water is still flowing perfectly. Your heart rate is elevating. This might actually work. 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet. The water approaches the terminus point where the wooden marker stands, and then it arrives. Water reaches the new field section, spreading into the prepared agricultural grid. The grade is perfect. The water distribution is even. The canal works. The crowd erupts in cheers. People are embracing, celebrating. Children are running alongside the canal, laughing. Your sister is jumping up and down. Small bird is grinning at you from across the canal. Stone counter places a hand on your shoulder. His face shows the closest thing to a smile you've ever seen from him. You calculated the grade perfectly, not one adjustment needed. You're ready to lead surveys. The days following the successful water test are bureaucratic. Water rights must be allocated. The village elders meet with representatives from surrounding communities to determine who gets access to the new irrigation capacity. Farmers, whose fields border the new canal extension, receive primary rights. Others receive secondary access. They can draw water if primary users' needs are met. You sit in on these meetings now as future survey leader. You need to understand the political aspects of water distribution. It's not just engineering, it's diplomacy. One clan feels they deserve more water because they contributed more workers. Another argues their fields are closer and transportation rights matter. A third mentions historical alliances dating back generations. Stone counter navigates these discussions with patience you're only beginning to understand. The canal capacity is X, he says. It can support Y families' fields at full irrigation. These are facts. How you divide those rights is politics, not engineering. But remember, over-allocate water rights and the system fails. Under-allocate and you waste the canal's capacity. You learn to calculate water allocation by volume and time. Each primary rights holder gets X hours per week at Y flow rate. Secondary holders get Z hours at reduced flow. It's complex mathematics combined with social negotiation. One miscalculation and you either drown fields or starve them. Small Bird attends some of these meetings too. As a respected potter, she has status in community gatherings. You notice she's skilled at mediation. When two farmers argue over boundary water access, she suggests splitting the disputed irrigation time evenly until crops prove which field needs more. Simple, fair, effective. After one particularly contentious meeting, she finds you examining the canal flow measurements. You're good at the technical parts, she observes, but you get uncomfortable when people argue. I prefer dirt and water. They follow rules. People follow rules too. Different rules. Social ones. She sits beside you. When we marry, you'll need to navigate both worlds. Engineers who only understand engineering don't survive as leaders. Stone counter knows this. He's teaching you politics as much as mathematics. You realize she's right. Stone counter's endless patience in meetings isn't weakness. It's skill. He's managing human systems as carefully as water systems. Will you help me learn that? You ask. That's partly why I agreed to marry you. Engineers need partners who understand people. She pauses. Also, you have good shoulders, and I like your laugh. You weren't expecting that last part. You laugh, which proves her point. Day 25. After canal completion brings the formal marriage ceremony. In Hohokam culture, these are simple affairs, not elaborate celebrations, but meaningful acknowledgments of alliance. You and Small Bird stand before the village elders at sunrise. Stone Counter speaks first, representing your family since your father is gone. He recites your work history, your skills, your potential as future survey leader. Small Bird's mother speaks next, describing her daughter's pottery mastery, her observational skills, her value to the community. Then the water ritual. You and Small Bird each carry a jar of water from different sources. Yours from the canal you just built. Hers from Black Mesa's oldest canal. You pour them together into a ceremonial bowl. The mixing of waters symbolizes the joining of families, the blending of lineages, the creation of something new from two sources. The combined water is used to irrigate a newly planted agave shoot. As the agave grows over years, it will mark your marriage's progress. If you care for it, it thrives. If you neglect it, it withers. Simple, direct symbolism. Your sister ties cotton cords around your wrists and Small Bird's, not binding you together, but marking you as pair bonded. The ceremony ends with a communal meal, nothing elaborate, just normal food shared with community acknowledgement. After, Small Bird moves her possessions to your pit house. It's practical. She doesn't have much, mostly pottery tools and a few personal items. Your sister has prepared a space for her, and the three of you will share the dwelling. Eventually, you'll dig a new pit house for you and Small Bird, but that takes time and resources you don't have immediately. That night, lying beside your new wife, you feel the weight of adult responsibility settling fully. You're not just a worker anymore. You're a husband, a future survey leader, someone people depend on. Small Bird's voice comes from the darkness. Nervous? Completely? Good, means you take it seriously. She finds your hand, careful of the calluses. We'll figure it out. Life settles into new rhythms. You continue working on canal maintenance and small extensions. Stone Counter is training you in survey leadership more intensively now. You accompany him to meetings with other villages, learning the complex network of inter-clan water agreements. Small Bird establishes herself in your household. She and your sister work well together, dividing domestic tasks efficiently. Small Bird's pottery brings trade value. Her pieces are in demand, especially her water jars, which have innovative designs that reduce evaporation. Your combined household income improves noticeably. But you're also learning married life is more complex than canal engineering. Small Bird has opinions about everything. How you're spending too much, time on measurements, and not enough on relationship building with other engineers. How you need to eat more because you're still too thin. How you should consider what happens if Stone Counter dies suddenly and you're not fully prepared to lead. She's right about everything, which is annoying. One evening, she watches you examining your father's shell necklace. You do this sometimes, remembering. You need to let him go, she says quietly. I don't. You're still waiting for him to come back. It's been over 2 years he's gone. Keeping that wound open doesn't honor him. You feel anger. Flash. You don't know. I know you wear his gift like armor. I know you make decisions, asking yourself what he would do. I know you're afraid to become survey leader because accepting that role means accepting He's never coming back to see it. Her voice is gentle but firm. I'm not saying forget him, I'm saying acknowledge the truth. The truth. He shaped you, but he's not here anymore. You are. The words hit hard because they're accurate. You've been holding on to hope that's really just denial. That night, you don't take off the necklace. You never do. But you touch it differently, not as connection to someone who might return, as memory of someone who taught you to watch the water. Day 40, after canal completion brings news. Riverbend clan is preparing for major raid. Not just a scouting party, a full assault force, maybe 50 warriors. The target is unclear, but intelligence suggests they're planning to strike multiple villages simultaneously, overwhelming defenses through coordination. The valley communities respond by forming a defensive alliance. Your village, Black Mesa, and 3 other clans agree to mutual protection. If one is attacked, the others send warriors. It's unprecedented cooperation, born from unprecedented threat. Stone Counter calls you into a planning meeting. If Riverbend succeeds in any raid, they'll target canal infrastructure. You need to prepare protection plans for critical water points. You spend 2 days surveying every vulnerable location, control gates, major junctions, bridges where canals cross arroyos. Each point needs either physical fortification or guard positions. It's military engineering, combining water knowledge with defensive strategy. Small bird helps. Surprisingly, potters understand structural weak points, she explains. Clay vessels fail at specific stress locations. A principle applies to. She identifies 3 locations you missed where raiders could create maximum damage with minimum effort. The defensive preparations consume everyone. Farmers abandon fields temporarily to build protective berms around control gates. Warriors drill in canal defense tactics. Children are taught evacuation routes. Food storage is dispersed. If raiders burn one cache, others survive. You work alongside Stone Counter, planning defensive measures. He's 60 years old and shouldn't be hauling earth for berms, but he's there anyway. The canals are my life's work, he says. When you suggest he rest, I'll defend them with my last breath if necessary. At night, Small Bird sleeps fitfully, worried. Your sister has moved to a safer central pit house with other vulnerable people. Young children, pregnant women, elders. The village is preparing for war. You sharpen your digging stick into a proper spear point. It's no longer just a tool. The raid comes at dawn. 3 days later, 50 Riverbend warriors strike simultaneously at 3 villages. Your village is one of them. You're already awake, on guard duty at the main canal control point. You see them coming, shadows moving in pre-dawn gray, too coordinated to be animals. You sound the alarm, a hollowed log that booms when struck. The village mobilizes instantly. The Riverbend warriors split into 3 groups. The largest attacks the village center. Standard raiding tactic. But 2 smaller groups break off, heading for canal infrastructure. They're doing exactly what you predicted, trying to destroy water systems. You and Stone Counter lead the canal defense crew, 8 engineers and farmers who volunteered to protect the water. You're armed with spears, clubs, and desperation. The raiders are professional warriors. Uneven match. The first group of raiders, 7 warriors, reaches the main control gate where you're positioned. They have tools for destroying the gate mechanism, stone hammers, prying bars. Destroy this gate and the entire canal system loses pressure control. The fight is brutal. You're no longer hesitant like your first combat. You thrust your spear forward, catching a raider in the shoulder. He falls back. Stone Counter is beside you, moving like a much younger man, striking with calculated precision. The canal defense crew fights with savage determination. These canals represent their survival. But you're outnumbered and outmatched. You take a club blow to the ribs. Something cracks, pain explodes. You stay on your feet only because falling means dying. A raider gets past your defense, raises his hammer to smash the control gate. Then Small Bird appears from nowhere, swinging a heavy clay water jar. She breaks it across the raider's head. He drops unconscious. She grabs his dropped hammer and stands beside you, breathing hard. "I'm an engineer's wife," she says grimly. "I defend canals too." The village warriors arrive, reinforcements flooding in. The raiders see they're now outnumbered and retreat. The control gate holds. Barely, the raid is repulsed from all three villages. River Bend loses 20 warriors dead, many more wounded. The Alliance villages lose 12 combined, dozens injured. Your village lost 4 people, 2 warriors, 1 farmer, 1 elder. Not you, miraculously, not Stone Counter, not Small Bird, but you're badly hurt. Your ribs are definitely broken. You hear crepitus when you breathe, a grinding that means bone fragments moving. Your sister and Small Bird create a binding to stabilize your chest. It helps, but breathing still feels like being stabbed. Stone Counter took a spear wound to his leg. He's alive, but walking is difficult. The wound will heal, but he's 60, and recovery takes longer at that age. 3 days after the raid, Stone Counter calls a meeting. The village elders gather. "Your wife is there. Your sister too. I'm stepping down as survey leader," Stone Counter announces. "My leg won't heal properly. I can advise, but I can't do field work anymore." He looks directly at you. Digger has completed his training. He calculated a perfect canal grade. He organized effective defenses. He fought to protect the water systems. He's ready. The elders confer briefly, then nod agreement. You're now survey leader. At 19, with broken ribs and exhaustion, you're responsible for managing the community's entire water infrastructure. Any words? The head elder asks you. You stand carefully, every breath painful. "I'll honor what Stone Counter taught me. I'll honor what my father taught me about watching water. I'll honor what this community has built over generations." You touch the shell necklace. Water tells truth. I'll listen to it. Small Bird squeezes your hand. Your sister smiles through tears. Pride and worry mixed. That evening, you stand at the canal you built 50 days ago now. Feels like a lifetime. Water flows perfectly, feeding the new fields. Around you, the Sonoran Desert stretches endless and beautiful and merciless. You're 19 years old. You're a husband, an engineer, a survivor, and now a leader. Your hands are destroyed and healing. Your body is broken and will mend. Your father is gone, but his lessons remain. The canals flow. Life continues. You dig, you build, you protect. This is what it means to be Hohokam. To move water through desert. To create abundance from scarcity. To survive through ingenuity and cooperation and relentless determination. You place your scarred hand in the flowing water, feeling its truth. Tomorrow, you'll survey a new canal extension to the western fields. Your wife will walk with you, observing as she does. Your sister will manage your household while you work. Stone Counter will advise when you need guidance. And you, young digger, now survey leader, you'll continue the work your ancestors started, building the vast canal systems that future people will call America's most complex pre-Columbian water engineering. You built these canals to survive. You survived brutal labor, warfare, and the desert itself. The water flows. The desert provides, grudgingly. And you endure, so now you know. You've walked in the sandals of a Hohokam engineer, felt the brutal sun, the destroyed hands, the desperate combat. You've understood why they built America's most complex canal system, not through slave labor or mystical knowledge, but through generational commitment, community cooperation, and young people willing to break their bodies for future survival. The canal still exists today, buried under Phoenix, Arizona. Archaeologists marvel at the precision grading, the sophisticated water distribution, the engineering that rivals Roman aqueducts. But now you know what those ruins don't show. the 19-year-old with bleeding hands, the engineer's wife defending gates with broken pottery, the communities choosing cooperation over conquest. Mostly, the desert remembers. The water still tells truth. Sleep well. Your bed is softer than packed earth. Your water comes from taps, not canals you bled to build. Your tomorrow holds different challenges than combat and survival. But maybe, just maybe, you'll think differently when you see irrigation systems, water infrastructure, the hidden engineering that feeds modern cities. Someone built that. Someone always builds it. Someone young, determined, willing to dig. Good night. Rest easy. The canals flow. Work continues.